Demolition, and there's that right hand. They're duking it out, not by the right hand. Takayama.
Green trunks for the southpaw, the notorious Conor McGregor. Black trunks for the champion, Jose Aldo Jr. Conor relaxed, smiling. Oh!
Nate Diaz, you just shook up the world. How's that feel? Hey, I'm not surprised.
What's going on, Combat Crew? It's time. It's time to talk Chingasos. It's Thanksgiving week. I got tons of fight announcements and lots of Chingasos to talk about. So let's just jump right into it, man. I hope your Thanksgiving week is off to a wonderful start. Lots of family, lots of fun, lots of food coming everybody's way. Let's get into this by talking about this crap show that we had shoved down our throats the last couple of weeks. I'm talking about Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, and by now you probably saw this clip, but if not, head over to our YouTube page at Chingasos Crew. Check out what I'm talking about. So here it is. This is, I don't know, probably round 6, round 7, but Mike has the opportunity to drop one of his patented right hands. And I don't know, what do you guys think? Is he pulling back here? Check this out. There it is, and I don't think so. Very, very odd that he would pull that back. You know, he didn't land not one power shot all night. I know he's 58, but hey, you can dream, right? So ever since then, obviously, everybody's been lining up to try to get a crack at Jake, including the man on the screen, heavyweight champion of the world, Daniel Dubois, who just recently murked Anthony Joshua into the stratosphere. But he's putting his name on the list, and he is, I don't know what belt he holds, but you know they're not going to let him fight. And you know Jake don't want this smoke. Yeah, he doesn't fit the criteria for Jake. He's too young, he's too big, and he's in his prime. So you know he's not going to do that. All right, keeping the show going. I don't know if you guys saw this past weekend. This is Mike Perry's new promotion, Dirty Boxing. And I don't know if this was the main event or not, but this is little Yoel Romero on the screen, and he is looking like a juggernaut. What a monster of a man, taking on some pure unsuspecting foe that goes by the name of Dwayne Crespo. And I'm pretty sure you can tell what's going to happen. On the mat. It doesn't even look normal. He's for sure on the juice now, man. There is no way that is all horse meat. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Once again, head over to our YouTube page at Chingasos Crew, or look this up on the Dirty Boxing Official's Instagram page and check out Yoel Romero, new and improved, Incredible Hulk style. One more time. Check this out. Looks like he landed about 3 punches, so I was off by 1. All right. Keeping the show moving on. Talking about a couple of weeks ago as well, John Jones sending Stipe Miocic off into retirement. But I don't know if you guys were aware of this. After taking that kick, he fractured a rib and had his kidney and spleen lacerated. So I'm glad it's over. Sounds like he's heading off into the sunset, gonna retire. He's got his shout outs. I don't know why the UFC didn't have something ready to go. They gave Michelle Watterson a highlight reel. Stipe, the greatest heavyweight champion in the history of UFC, gets nothing on his way out the door. So thank you, Stipe. Thank you for the memories. Francis Ngannou gave you a big shout out. Check that out on Instagram. Thank you, champ, for all you've done for our sport, and above all, for the class you embody and the example you set. I'm grateful for how our battles have shaped me into a better fighter. Those moments taught me more than years in the sport. Enjoy your well-earned retirement, and best wishes for all your future endeavors. Quite a send-off, man. So Stipe did not look good in the cage. So I'm glad that he is riding off into the sunset. Right, guys? Yeah. All right. Next up, the pound for pound rankings. Now that John has thrashed number 8 ranked heavyweight in the world, he went up a whole 1 slot on the pound for pound rankings. So him and Alex Pereira have swapped spots. John is at number 2, and Islam is still at number 1. And you know Uncle Dana is not going to be happy about that. So sorry, Uncle Dana. It's coming fast and furious. All right. So on the screen right now, I got last week's UFC pay-per-view. This was co-main event. Charles Oliveira and Dirty Michael Chandler. Somebody put a little clip together. This was posted by Mesmerique over on the UFC Reddit page, but he put together a montage of pretty much all of Michael Chandler's penalties, fouls, strikes, rule breaking, but check this out, man. Here's an eye poke. No warning. Fight continues. There it is again. Eye poke and a half. Oh, let's go full screen on this bad boy then. Here we go with some cage grabs, sticking his hand over the fence. Tried to use the cage to get up. There he is. Oh, no, that's Charlie who's got his hands in the cage. If you're not cheating, you ain't trying, I guess. Right, Michael Chandler? Michael Chandler on his horse there. And let's just forward to the back of the blowheads here at the end of the 5th round. So here we are. Oliveira on the bottom, 1 hammer strike. I couldn't see where that landed, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 18 shots to the back of the head with the ref out, with the ref not saying not one thing. What is going on here? I know that's not one of the best referees in the business, but they all are the best at this level, no? On the screen, I also have, I don't know who put this list together, but UFC's best refs all time. And the guy who's reffing this fight is not on that list. So maybe that's a reason why. Should be taking a closer look at this. But that was odd, man. Charles Oliveira almost lost the fight because of those illegal strikes to the back of the head, but he held on to it, man. So shout out Charles Oliveira. Now let's see what happens. All right. We're talking about bare knuckle fighting a little while ago. Now we got the biggest fight event to hit Philadelphia. Bare knuckle fighting coming to Philly in, is this January, I believe? I thought I had the date on here. But main event, peep this, y'all. Eddie Alvarez taking on Jeremy the Heathen Stevens. That's going to be a fun one while it lasts. I would imagine they're probably going to be fighting somewhere between 150, 170. So as more details come out, actually, the date's staring at me right there on the screen. January 25th, Combat Crew. Be ready. All right. Little non-UFC news here. Road to Dubai, the championship series. Bellator is finally going to have a show Saturday, January 25th, the same day as BKFC's Knucklemania. So January 25th, Bellator is planning on having a show, and the main event looks like it's going to be Paul Hughes taking on Khabib's cousin, yeah, you know the guy's name. But you don't know anything about Paul Hughes, man. Paul Hughes is a motherfucker who just fought Antonio McKee Jr. a couple months ago. Put it to him. He was a big underdog. Paul Hughes was also a UFC prospect, but I guess they tried to lowball him. And he's like, I'm out. Ended up signing with Bellator. And now he wants to do a Conor McGregor versus Khabib style fight over there. So I'm not sure. It looks like Conor's got his hands full at the moment. So I'm not sure if he's going to be able to be in his corner. But nonetheless, this fight is going to be a banger. So let's keep it going. Talking about a little bit of Bellator. I was just mentioning how they haven't had a show in a while. And that is ever since PFL bought Bellator, man. They're just not putting on any more Bellator shows. They canceled a handful of them, and now the Bellator fighters are starting to complain, and they're wondering what's going on. They're saying that there's no transparency. Nobody's giving them any news or word on why they're canceling the shows and the fights. They're just getting the news that the fights are getting canceled. So even the guys at the top are starting to get tired of this. So I don't know what PFL's doing with Bellator other than flashing it down the toilet, man. It's going down in a blaze of glory. All right, let's talk about some UFC fight announcements here. Looks like they're going to run this one back, a middleweight matchup between Anthony Hernandez and Brandon Allen. These two threw down back in 2018 for the LFA middleweight championship, where Anthony Hernandez won a unanimous decision, 5 rounds with these guys. So at the moment, Anthony Hernandez is 1-0. Brendan Allen's 0-1, trying to get that back. Should be a fun fight. This is going to be a UFC Fight Night going down February 22nd. All right. Another fight that hasn't officially been announced, but it's been cooking for a while. It's starting to heat up. Looks like UFC is going to throw Diego Lopes into a main event in Mexico City, March 29th against Josh Emmett. And all signs point to this is going to be a banger of a fight, because you know Josh Emmett don't play. He's got them hands. He drops bombs, and all of his fights are entertaining as hell. And this will be a good measuring stick for Diego, because remember, before Ilya got the title shot, he also fought Josh Emmett. So, hey, maybe he's following the same road, following the same formula. All right, we just had UFC Fight Night. Deiveson Figueiredo, Petr Yan, Anthony Tabitha Ricci, and Shan Xiaonan. Also, the China show, and it was a banger of a fight. Lots of good fights, lots of people getting laid the F out. If you did not watch, I got your back. Here we are. One of the prelim fights that I watched was a road to UFC contender. I don't know what they call the show, but 2 guys aren't in the UFC fighting for a contract. Kiro Sahota versus Dong Hoon Choi. Let's check this out. Watch these dogs fly, because once they get called, they can't get called back. Watch this. Choi dropping left-right combos in just a bit and lays out Sahota in a blaze of glory. This is round 1, a little over halfway. So there's a right hand that lands in a left and a right, and he just dumps Sahota like a bag of sand, bag of potatoes, you name it. Let's watch that one more time. Starts it off with that overhand right, and then comes back with the left and a right. Too much for Sahota, man. All right, next fight that I'm going to talk to you guys about. Kenan Song taking on Muslim Salikov. Y'all want to see a dead body? Check this out. Also a round 1 fight, even earlier, 1 minute, 32 seconds left in the round. And watch this. Salikov misses with the spinning back fist, but don't trip, because he's got something else up his sleeve. How about this back spinning wheelhouse kick? And how does he set this up? There it is. Boom! Holy moly. Lights out, bro. Lights out. Heel to the dome. Song goes down in a blaze of glory. Salikov follows it up with some hammers, and that's all she wrote. All right, moving on to the main card. This was Kong Wang taking on Gabriela Fernandez. And dang, I forgot to put that one on too. Fast forwarding to the main event, this was a number 1 contender matchup. Whoever won this one may be able to cut in front of the line, cut in front of Cousin Umar, and get a title shot against Marab. Talking about Petr Yan taking on Deiveson Figueiredo, and it was a 5-round masterpiece for Petr. Never was in trouble, did get hit a handful of times, but he was in control the entire fight. Ends up scoring a unanimous decision, 45-50, and he calls out the champ. He wants to go throw down against Marab, but I don't know. What do you guys think, man? Here's what Marab thinks. Got this little There it is. Matchmaker Marab cutting Umar out of the chase and putting Piotr at the top, saying, see you March 8th. They're running this back. Not sure if Uncle Dana's going to like that so much. So stay tuned. I'm sure we'll hear about it soon because the year is wrapping up quickly and they'll be announcing fights for early 2025 soon. All right. On the screen now, I got Jon Jones's first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 fights in the UFC. I'm going to compare him head to head with Tom Aspinall's first 9 fights in the UFC. But first, let's start with this little clip of Jon getting interviewed by the Schmo talking about his plans for 2025. There you have it. He said he's in, but he's not saying against two. All right. So he is in for 2025. Bring on Tommy Aspinall. Let's go over Jon's resume here. Andre Guzmão, Stephen Bonner, Jake O'Brien, Matt Hamill, Brandon Vera, Vladimir Matyushenko, Ryan Bader, Mauricio Hua, and Quinton Jackson. That's quite a resume for a young Jon Jones. Stephen Bonner, UFC Ultimate Fighter winner. Matt Hamill, I believe, also won Ultimate Fighter. Brandon Vera ended up being a 1 FC heavyweight and light heavyweight champ. Vladimir Matyushenko was an early UFC light heavyweight champ. Ryan Bader was a Bellator heavyweight champ, I believe. Mauricio Hua was a Pride FC champ and a UFC champ, as was Quinton Jackson. So I didn't add that there, but damn, that's quite a resume. So in those 9 fights, Jon went 20 rounds, 33 minutes, 19 seconds, 1 title defense, 1 title snatch, and 2 bonuses. So fight of the night, knockout of the night, something like that. All right. Now let's move on and talk about Tiny Tom. Tiny Tom also went on a little podcast with some guy named Ariel, and let's hear what he had to say. Cold words from Tom Aspinall. But to quote John McCarthy, man, everybody's gotten a lot of tape on Jon. All of his opponents have seen the same amount of tape that Tom has, and no one's been able to crack the code. So does Tom have the program? Does Tom have the capabilities to take out Jon Jones? Let's look at Tom. In the same number of fights in the UFC, he fought Jake Collier, Alan Baudot, Andrei Arlovsky, former UFC heavyweight champ, Sergey Spivak, Alexander Volkov, Curtis Blades, Marcin Tybura, Sergey Pavlovich, and then Curtis Blades again. Not as many champs, not as many accomplishments, not as many known names. And but this is what you're supposed to do to lesser competition. So in 10 rounds, 18 minutes, 21 seconds, 1 title snatch, 1 title defense, and 7 bonuses. So like Tom mentioned, he doesn't spend a lot of time in the cage. So yeah, I might be comparing apples to oranges here, but there is something to talk about here. So let's see what we hear in the next coming weeks or months, man. Hopefully they can get him done there. Check out this poster I found on Reddit. This is awesome. Jones versus Barnett, the fight the real fans deserve. Johnny Bones versus Beast Boy. Just kidding. They're never going to make that fight. It'd be a slaughter. No UFC this weekend for Thanksgiving, so enjoy this weekend with your fam. But the next weekend, Saturday, December 7th, UFC 310, going down in Vegas. Main event, Alexander Pantoja taking on Kai Asakura. And co-main event, Rachmanov, Ian Machado, Gary. Someone's O is gonna go. Let's look at the bout order and the bangers that you do need to be watching. Started with the early prelims. Tyler Durden taking on Josh Van. If you guys remember, Josh Van fought our boy Edgar Chairez in a banger of a fight and at UFC Noche. So he's bringing the heat. That is going to be a hell of a fight. And then on the prelims, Randy Rude Boy Brown taking on Brian Battle. That is going to be that's got fight of the night written all over it. If you haven't been following Brian Battle, watch his fights. They don't last long. And actually, I think they do last long, but they are slaughters. Also on the prelims, Anthony Smith taking on Dominic Reyes. And this fight right here also could be fight of the night on land. I'm not sure if this is the right bout order here, but on this, it shows that Nate Landwehr taking on Dong Yu Choi as the main fight of the prelims. And then almost every fight on the main card is going to be a banger to fight. Number one contender at stake here, Movsar Evloev, Aljamain Sterling. The winner is probably going to face Ilya or Diego Lopes. So a lot at stake here. And then at the heavyweight division, Cyril Gane taking on Fonzo's boy, Alexander Volkov. Rachmanov taking on Machado Gary, co-main event. And the main event. Not a lot of people are talking about this, but it should be fun. UFC newcomer Kai Asakura, fresh off of coming out of Ryzen, facing on Alexander Pantoja, trying to solve the riddle at flyweight. So, yeah, we got our hands full here, man. All right, Combat Crew, that is a wrap. Like I said before, have a happy Thanksgiving. I'll catch y'all next week. Until then, Combat Crew out. Peace.
Demolition, and there's that right hand. They're duking it out. Mount Barber, right hand. Takayama.
Green trunks for the southpaw, the notorious Conor McGregor. Black trunks for the champion, Jose Aldo Jr. Conor relaxed, smiling. Oh!
Nate Diaz, you just shook up the world. How's that feel? Hey, I'm not surprised.